All right, man. Cheers.
Cheers.
So today we're going to be talking about a topic that you apparently care nothing for, but I thought we could talk about a lot, which is...
And you gotta defeat me so much at the beginning of the episode.
No, because at the beginning, like, because when we were talking about this topic before, you're like, oh yeah, we could definitely talk about it. And I said, okay, let's do it. Like, what are we, huh? We're going to be talking about bread in Japan,
Yay,
the United States.
Bread.
Yeah. Come on, man. No, I think this is actually very interesting because, you know, before coming to Japan,
yeah,
I never like associate bread with Japan. It was always rice, you know?
Yeah.
And then coming here and seeing how much people eat bread, it was surprising.
Like, you never hear about bread outside of Japan.
Yeah.
Like, you never hear about how good the bread is here.
Yeah.
One thing I am going to complain about this because I feel like I do kind of lean towards like the anti-bread group here. And the reason for that is I think there's too much of a focus on French bread or like French style or like European style bread here in Japan.
Well, I mean, because the best bread comes from Europe. That's why.
Yeah, well,
which you've never been to, so you can't say anything,
I like
man.
my Wonder Bread.
Yeah, I understand that. And that's why you don't like bread, or that's why you're not big on bread. But so this is funny because I spent my formative years in Europe, in Germany. So my relationship is very different. But what I think is really funny just is, you know, I'm actually part of a Japanese recipe and cooking group on Facebook where like a lot of Americans want to learn to cook Japanese food. And I remember seeing someone like, I tried my best to make a typical Japanese breakfast. And I looked at it and it was like a fillet of salmon with some miso soup and some rice. Like, I was like, that's great. But the actual typical breakfast is a slice of toast with some coffee.
And a salad.
Yeah. What's crazy is like, so like, I remember when I went to, when I first went to Niigata, they had like bread for breakfast every morning and they had rice at dinner, but like other than that,
never have rice for breakfast here.
Yeah.
That's just something you never see.
Yeah. For a lot of people. Yeah. And it was just really surprising because for me, you know, when I lived in the States, I tried not to eat bread in the morning because when I eat bread, I just get hungry for the rest of the day and it just helps me get like fatter, you know?
Sure.
But apparently my wife doesn't have that problem. She's still super skinny. So
yeah. Yeah. Dude, it's actually crazy how skinny your wife is. Like I remember, like she said, you've got 2 kids now.
Yeah.
And like good on her for being able to.
Well, you know, personally, I think a lot of it is, she was really athletic when she was young. She was on Dikujobu. She was in track and field and stuff.
Yeah.
And it was funny because like, the other day I was showing her some like exercises that I learned and for especially working out your core and stuff. Cause my core has gone to shit, you know? And,
are you trying to say you've put on some weight?
No. What I mean is well, that too, but also what I'm trying to say is that my core is really weak. So I remember because I was showing her these exercises that I was doing to build my core up and then I saw her do it and she did them so much more elegantly, so much more quickly. And I'm like, wow, this is why I'm fat. That's why I need to build up my core more. She like doesn't exercise at all, you know?
Yeah.
But anyways, so apparently going back to the bread topic, because you said you like Wonder Bread.
Yeah.
And are you being facetious or is that how you really feel?
It's true.
Okay. Can you explain what Wonder Bread is?
So Wonder Bread is white bread. It's like heavily processed white bread.
In the United States. So if you go and you get like shokupan, you get the sliced bread.
Yeah.
It's Wonder Bread.
Yeah.
Now, okay, so I'm glad you said that because for me, Wonder Bread is like tasteless cardboard garbage.
So I'll tell you what I like about it. Okay.
Tell me. Memories?
And you know, I don't think you're going to look at this and think it's a positive thing, but one of the things that I really like about Wonder Bread is when you get it, you can kind of mush it.
Okay.
And I like that.
Mush it in your hand and mush it into nothing?
You can though.
Yeah.
You can. And so something that I often like to do is I like to grab like a slice of bread and mush it and then dip it into soup.
Dip it into soup? Okay.
Super good.
Make it denser. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So speaking of that though, so one of the reasons you can do that is because Wonder Bread is cut so thin all the time. And I was really surprised at the shokupan here. It's like super thick.
Yeah. So, but we kind of have that too in the US with like Texas toast.
Okay. Yeah. Well, but Texas toast is more like I thought that was like a variety of French toast or something like that.
Is it?
I thought so.
I've just always thought Texas toast was like thick cut bread.
Okay, well I'm from Massachusetts.
And I'm from Seattle, there, so it's like I'm as far away from Texas as you can basically get. So I probably am wrong too.
Yeah,
but that's what I've always thought Texas toast was. So maybe we're both wrong.
We probably are both wrong. But one thing though, so one of the reasons I wanted to talk about bread in Japan is because for a lot of Americans, like we talked about, they don't really associate bread with Japan.
Yeah.
But it's such an integral part of like people's everyday life here.
It's so crazy because I would say like probably even more common than coffee shops.
Mm-hmm.
You see like bread shops.
Mm-hmm. And you see a lot of mom and pop bakeries too,
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Especially like French pastries.
Mm-hmm.
I think those are like by far the most common.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll see those little like chocolate croissant.
Yeah, pain au chocolat.
Yeah.
That's what you call it.
Croissant.
Yeah. So one of the things, so my mom told me that the best croissant she ever had in her life was in Tokyo in the 80s. She went to...
I believe it.
She went to an Anderson bakery at the time, I think in Shinjuku.
Mm-hmm.
And she said she actually spent some years in France. Best croissant she had was there. And what's funny is she because she went to Japan in the 80s when she was a flight attendant for Pan Am.
Yeah.
And then for like 30 years she didn't go. And then I came here, so she's been around frequently since then. But I remember like one of the first times she came here, we went to a bakery. One of her favorite things to do is to go to the bakeries here. But she got a pain au chocolat, right? Which is just like a croissant bun with like chocolate in it. And she was amazed because they were just like the pain au chocolat that she had in France. And she told me, she was like almost moved to tears because she said, Arthur, they don't make it like this in France anymore. They put like Nutella or something, but in Japan, they still put in the rods of chocolate. It's like the real deal,
Yeah.
And for me, that kind of shows how in like Japanese culture, something that happens frequently of taking something, making it the best it can be, and then not changing it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's true. Okay. What is your favorite bread in here?
Ah, man.
I'm gonna talk about mine, but I want to know.
So
yours.
if I were to go to Pan-ya-san and I would get something, there. To be honest, I would either go for shokupan or I would go for meronpan.
Okay.
What about you?
So there's these like cheese twists.
Okay.
It's like cheese bread, but they're like kind of like fried into a twist.
Okay.
That I can't stop myself from eating. Like if I get some, I'll get an entire bag and I'll eat a bag because it's so good
and very dangerous.
Yeah,
to eat all that.
Yeah, but I mean it's like 9,000 calories basically, but they're so good.
Yeah, no, dude, those are really good too.
Yeah,
what's funny is so my dad, he's a fitness junkie. He goes to the gym every day. He hardly ever eats bread, so he's not a big bread guy.
Yeah.
In Japan, he'll like it. He's more of an ice cream guy, actually. But my mom and my sister, when they come to Japan, the one thing they need to get, not the sushi, not the steak, not anything like Japanese, they need to get karepan.
I will say karepan is pretty damn good.
Yeah. And at first, I remember when I first saw it, I first thought like, what? It's like a roll that's fried with curry in it.
Yeah.
Like, what? It was very confusing for me at first.
Yeah. I will say, and maybe I might get some pushback in the comments on this, but one thing I will say is the sandwiches here in Japan suck.
Okay, so before we do that, I want to just I was going to ask them
drop that on the table.
And I can understand why you say that, and we can get into that. But before we get into this topic where everyone hates us, I want to ask everyone, when you go to a bakery, what do you like to buy?
Yeah.
He likes to get the cheese twists, all of them. I like to get meronpan.
Yeah.
What do you guys like to get? And now we can move into why you think Japanese sandwiches suck. Why?
That should be the thumbnail for this.
I hate Japanese sandwiches.
No, just Japanese sandwiches suck. I'm sure that'll go well. No, okay. I'll tell you what I hate about them. Okay, I'll tell you what I hate about.
Are they too tall?
No. Actually, they're actually the correct size a sandwich should be. So good job, Japan. You have not made sandwiches that are too tall. Okay. Now I'm gonna talk about why they're terrible. Mm-hmm. First of all, stop removing the damn crust from the sandwiches. Yeah. I'm not 4 years old. Yeah. I can eat sandwich crust. Mm-hmm. That drives me insane. Yeah. Who out there is in charge of like the Combini sandwiches that they're just like, we must remove all the crust. Yeah. You know, I feel like I'm back in kindergarten. Do you ever eat the Uncrustables? Yeah. When you were a child? Yeah.
Can you explain what those are?
So Uncrustables. So basically, children. I'm assuming children
in
also
America.
But I'm gonna assume that it's kind of the same here in Japan, where children don't like bread crust. I think that's just a thing that children don't like. But so there's this special peanut butter and jelly sandwich company, and their product's called Uncrustables because there's no bread crust. And it's a peanut butter and jelly sandwich with just the inner part of a sandwich.
Yeah, and it's funny because the edges are pressed around.
Yeah.
So
it kind of looks like gyoza.
Well, so it's funny because you have those in Japan too, except they're like square shaped. But the Uncrustables are circle shaped. You know,
so that drives me insane. I just leave the bread crust on.
So that's, you know, for me that was something that bothered me at first too, because us growing up, and I think this also has to do with like the peel on fruits and fruits.
I love the heel.
The peel.
The heel. The heel's the last.
The last part of the thing.
Yeah. Oh, I thought you said heel.
Oh no, I meant like the peel of like apples and stuff like that. Because you know, probably you grew up this way too. Hearing that like the peel, the skin is like the good part for you. Like
I eat kiwis raw.
Yeah, me too. I just eat them straight too. Into them? Yeah, and people like
it freaks people out.
I know they're like, "Are you a monster?"
My wife gets weirded out whenever I just grab a kiwi and I'm like, and just bite into it.
But there's hair on it.
That's like
I know, you get used to it. Yeah. But it's funny because like
I feel like there's an innuendo right there. Anyways,
gross, man. Okay, I'm not in middle school. But so also with the crust, right? So we grew up learning that the crust has a lot of nutrition, or that's like the healthy part of the bread. So you should eat that, but because you're a kid and you're too weak, you're not adult enough, you can't eat that. Yeah. You know? So like having these crustless sandwiches makes me feel like, oh, what? You think I'm a kid? I can't handle it myself? Yeah. You know? But it's the same thing, like, because I don't know, I feel like people here feel like the skin or the crust or the kawa of something is dirty. Yeah.
No, I think specifically it's dirty. Yeah. Like that's the belief. Because like I'll ask, like, my wife peels grapes, and most people I meet here in Japan peel grapes, and it's like, what are you doing? It's like, well, this is the outside skin. This is people have touched this. Yeah. You know? Yeah. 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 It's funny because so my wife likes grapes a lot too, and there are some grapes that she eats whole and some grapes that she takes the skin off. But she's like, oh yeah, the skin is bitter. I'm like, I don't taste it that much. And what drives me nuts is the seeds. The seeds. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But anyways, back on the topic of sandwiches and why they suck here. So the crust part, but the other one, I've been fighting a battle here in Japan. I've been fighting a battle, and it's been a losing battle. But I hate mayonnaise. Even Japanese mayonnaise? I hate it. I hate it so much. With the rice vinegar? I hate it so much. And I just, like, it's on everything. You just can't escape mayonnaise here. And I just want a sandwich without mayonnaise. But I can't get it here. And for whatever reason, I think a lot of people here really like thick layers of mayonnaise on their sandwich. That's like something you'll commonly see here. And it's just like, if I bite into that, I only taste mayonnaise. And it's like the worst experience of my life. I understand that, you know. So I remember I used to not like mayonnaise on my sandwiches and stuff in the States. Yeah. Because the mayonnaise in the United States doesn't really have a taste to it. Sure. It just kind of like, there's something oily in here that I can't really taste. It just kind of dilutes everything. But why is it here? But in Japan, it actually has a taste to it. Opposite opinion. Not of that, but something that I wish there was more of here in Japan was mustard. Mustard? Oh man, if we could get some like proper like European mustard with like the
like the
seeds
sweet
in-
mustard, yeah.
Oh
Yeah, the Süße
Yeah.
in German.
yeah.
Yeah.
So like one thing that I've been really, really craving, and I'm gonna bring this back onto the bread topic, is pretzels.
Pretzels. Oh
And,
yeah, man.
I don't know. Have you had good pretzels here?
You know, no, but
Yeah.
they're better than the pretzels I've had in the States.
Okay. Because I've had some damn good pretzels in the States,
Really?
but I'm not German, so I don't. Take that with a grain of salt.
Well, so let me try to explain this, because I also want to bring in like European bread culture a little bit too. So I grew up in pretzel land, the German land, you know?
Yeah.
And I remember when I first came to the States, and like, hey Arthur, you want some pretzels? It's like, first of all, some, not one.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, sure, I'll have some pretzels. And then they take out this bag, and inside are these like small, measly, like really, really hard, like sticks that are in the shape of pretzels.
I love those, by the way.
They're good.
You dip them in peanut butter.
They're good, but if you're expecting like an authentic German pretzel, you get this, you're like, what is this? This doesn't make any sense to me. And so like, I've had bagels are great. I didn't have a bagel until I came to the States. But pretzels, man, I've never really had a good pretzel.
I'm sorry to derail this. Did you know bagels are Jewish?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
they're from Germany.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So German Jews brought them over.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, that's why.
Hey guys, we're interrupting this awesome podcast with the two of us to tell you about a really special thing. It's called the Austin&Arthur Friends.
In the Austin&Arthur Friends, you're going to get this video with English and Japanese subtitles. 日本語と英語の字幕両方ついている動画もゲットできるんですね。You can also get a PDF script so you can read along with it. You'll get the video, the long conversation in separate videos, so it's easier for you to watch as well. You'll also get access to a 会員限定 online community and also opportunities to talk directly with me and Austin.
Yeah, you know, because we're really fun to talk to.
Well, I am. Austin's really boring.
That's a lie. It's the opposite.
He's correct. I'm the boring one.
All right. Bye, guys.
See ya.
Okay. Anyways, carry on.
No, so like, it's funny because like you said, a lot of the bakeries in Japan come from France.
Yeah.
So you don't really see pretzels as much here.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But
yeah, man, I was just thinking the other day, and I think it's because it's like we were talking about Oktoberfest and it's become September. Thanks. I was just thinking the other day, it's like, man, I could go for like a good proper pretzel.
So I'm kind of curious, where have you had good pretzels in the States?
At a beer festival.
Okay, so German themed
beer festival.
Okay, so I see those as like different because those are like
that's fair.
Yeah.
But yeah, I used to go to the beer festival every year, and you can do the pretzels they had there were just beautiful.
You know, one thing that I really miss about Europe that you kind of get here a little bit, but you don't have in the United States, is that bakery culture.
Yeah.
Because going to the bakery in Germany or in France is an almost daily thing. We go in the morning for your breakfast, you'll go to the bakery and you'll get some fresh baked bread, and that's all you'll buy, and you'll go home, maybe make something with it, or you'll eat it outside. And in Japan, I see a lot of people going to bakeries, buying things to take home and stuff, you know? And I really like that about Japan. But in the States, the only place you can buy bread is in the supermarket, and most of the places, it's in the plastic bagged, thin cut Wonder Bread.
Yeah.
And even if they do have a bakery, it's part of the supermarket, so you buy other stuff too, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So that's one thing that I really like about living here is there's more of like that bread culture.
Yeah, I think that just kind of goes with like the one-stop shop culture in America, where it's like these small businesses. You don't really see butchers or bakers anymore.
Yeah.
They're just kind of all part of a supermarket.
Yeah.
Which is really convenient because it means you don't have to drive around town just buying stuff. But it also kind of kills uniqueness.
Yeah.
And kind of makes everything feel a little bit mass produced.
Yeah. Well, also like things in the States are a lot more spread out. So it's harder to get there. Like I remember I was watching this video by like CNBC or something, like Canadian News Broadcasting Company, whatever. And they were talking about how American 7-Eleven is trying to learn logistics from Japan 7-Eleven to try to do more just-in-time delivery, trying to offer more fresh food availability. But the thing is that in Japan, convenience stores are so ubiquitous and they're everywhere. It's easy to get to one. Whereas in the States, you don't really have many convenience stores. You have to drive a bit.
It's kind of... I don't think that could ever happen in the US because I think the culture of convenience stores is completely different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like convenience stores here are literally a convenience store.
Yeah.
Like the purpose of the store is it's convenient to go to, right? And kind of like what you mentioned, they're everything's all kind of spread out in the US, whereas like a convenience store in the US is kind of like a pit stop while you're driving. And it's like, oh, I just need to, use the bathroom and like get a coffee or something, right? So it's like you just can't take Japanese 7-Eleven and put it in the US. It's not going to be successful. Yeah, something
like 7-Eleven or like the convenience stores here are someplace you go on the way just because it's close by to you.
Yeah, but, or it's like right across the street from your work or something, right? Yeah.
Yeah, but in the States, you have to make a decision. I want to go to a convenience store.
Yeah.
And then you go there. You know? That's why a lot of convenience stores in America are attached to gas stations. You have to go there. But I guess it's also like the same thing with the bread bakery culture here. One thing though I do really like is they have this thing in Japan, they call it like sousakupan, which means like creative bread, where you have all of these like small bakeries that are just popping up with all this outlandish, really creative stuff. And it's like work of art,
How do you feel about donut culture here in Japan? I feel like it's pretty weak.
Donuts are pretty weak. But then again, I feel like donut culture in the majority of the United States is weak.
Yeah.
Seattle, West Coast has a lot of good donut shops.
Yeah, they do.
Like
they do.
I remember
it's because of all the Danish people we have.
Yeah. Although what's funny though is that like a lot of the on the West Coast, or at least the ones that I went to in Seattle, a lot of the bakeries are owned by like Vietnamese people.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I
wonder why.
Like I remember in the U District, next to University of Washington, I'd always go with my friends, and we would on 45th Street. There was Lee's Donuts, L-Y apostrophe S donut.
Yeah, I know.
And
what
we
you're
would go
talking
there
about.
at night, and just get a bunch of donuts there. And the guy would always be like, "What kind you like? I want this one,"
Yeah.
But on the West Coast, we don't really have that culture so much.
You mean East Coast? Yeah.
On the East Coast, sure, yeah.
Yeah, that's true. For me, like my favorite donut. Do you know what a maple bar is?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Explain what that is.
So a maple bar is like this long donut, and on the top they have like this maple flavored frosting.
Yeah.
And it's so good.
Yeah.
I wish you never see them here in Japan though.
Yeah.
I think like maple flavor in general is not a very popular flavor here.
Yeah, maple syrup's popular though.
But just for pancakes.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But yeah, so speaking of that actually though, so I remember this is years ago, the place has closed down since then, but there was a place in Azabujuban that had what they called Brooklyn style donuts. And what those were is they were big yeast donuts, like this big, very, very thick. So it's like a donut this big, but the hole is only like the size of your finger,
Yeah.
And it did look like a donut that you get in Brooklyn. My sister used to live in Brooklyn. We've been there before.
Yeah.
But it was too airy and there wasn't much of a taste to it. You don't have like that heaviness that you have in donuts.
Yeah.
But what's even worse than donut culture is bagel culture here.
It's funny you mentioned that because there's a famous bagel shop in Azabujuban that makes, I think, Brooklyn style bagels.
Yeah.
And they're expensive but tasty.
Oh, really?
Because I'm a sucker for bagels, man. You just slather like an inch of cream cheese on there.
Yeah, man.
And I love cream cheese so much. Actually, this is not really on the topic of bagels or bread, but New Days, New Days, right?
Yeah.
So in New Days right now, they have a cream cheese daifuku.
Okay, really?
It's so good.
Dude, that just
it's so good.
I don't know
about that. Oh God, I love it, man. It's so good. You got to try it.
New Days cream cheese daifuku.
The cream cheese daifuku.
I will.
It's dude, it's amazing.
I will consider it.
It's amazing.
I'll consider it.
If you like cream cheese, you'll love it. I like daifuku, but like especially with the cream cheese in, it's like
So I'm kind of curious for you though, going back to bagels.
Yeah.
Right. So do you have any sort of like traditions or memories associated with bagels growing up in the States?
I mean, it's just breakfast.
Okay.
Like that's kind of what I associate it with. Like it's really common. I think maybe it's more common on the East Coast to eat bagels than on the West Coast.
There's more Jews there.
Yeah. But you'll still see it pretty commonly, like most people eating like a bagel.
Yeah.
Even on the West Coast. Like it's just a common thing.
Yeah. So where I grew up, there's a lot of Jewish people there. My hometown, I said, is like 30% Jewish, right?
Yeah.
And so there's lots of bagels everywhere. And there was this small local chain store called Bagel World. And it's called Bagel World. They have the best bagels ever. They're like huge and you can get all sorts of stuff on them. But what I would do with my friends during summer vacation, this sounds really stupid, I guess, but we would, before dawn, we would go to Bagel World because it's open really, really early. We get bagels, then we go to the beach and watch the sunrise eating bagels. It was like one of my best memories of summer, man. That's like how I feel when I think of bagels. That too, and then ironically, we would get bagels at church a lot. And like we would, because they were like cheap and easy to eat, But yeah, that's one thing that I kind of miss. Like, so the bread here is really good, but I do miss bagels, I would say.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, man.
I just miss cream cheese, man. Like honestly, if I'm
you can
really...
get like Philadelphia cream cheese here, can't you?
Yeah, I know, but it's just like bagels are just really the best delivery system for cream cheese into your mouth.
Dude.
So, you know what I mean? Like I can't just put cream cheese on bread and then
that's true.
Get the same experience.
Yeah. So if you ever go to America, you guys, you need to get bagels.
Specifically, and I'm going to show some bias here, but you get the onion flavored bagels.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So one thing too that you guys need to understand is so bagels in America are really a big part of American culture, and you can get bagels with all sorts of toppings on it, like sesame seeds, poppy seeds. That we even had like spinach bagels. They were kind of green.
That sounds gross.
They were really good, actually.
Oh, really?
They were really
I
good.
like spinach, but I don't like it because of the flavor.
Okay.
I like it because of the health.
So you don't actually like it, but you force yourself to eat it.
Yeah.
I love spinach, man.
I am convinced that people who eat natto are the same. You cannot convince me that natto tastes good.
So I think, okay, so speaking about natto, by the way, have you had a natto donut here?
That sounds disgusting.
Those are actually good.
Oh, God.
No.
No, do not gaslight me into thinking this.
They don't taste like natto at all.
Oh.
They taste good.
You can't pay me enough money to eat
know. You wouldn't know that there's natto in them.
I would know because it smells like a gym sock.
No, that's what natto smells like. But the donuts are not like that. It's like because I got.
Oh, look at this fried gym sock. It totally doesn't smell like a gym sock.
No, dude. So here's the thing. So I got the donut specifically because I thought, how gross would it be to have a natto flavored donut? But they
bite into the donuts, this slimy, moldy gym sock.
No, they don't taste like natto. You wouldn't know that there's natto in it.
So what's the point?
Because you could say you ate a natto donut.
I don't care. I don't want a natto donut.
That's the difference between you and me, I guess. But anyways, I thought you would appreciate that is because of the lack of donut culture, whatever. But
you mean? Oh, I think we're talking about bagels.
But you said donut culture here is not. Anyways,
sure, yeah. Anyways. Were you talking about like an actual natto donut?
Yeah.
Oh, what the hell?
No,
that's disgusting.
No, so they mix.
God, man! I thought you were just mistakenly in calling it a bagel.
No, natto donut.
Ah.
Okay, Komi, next time.
That's offensive.
No, Komi, next time we need to get natto donuts for this guy.
Oh my God, man. Really?
Yeah? Udonuts, those are good too.
What's an udonut?
Udon donuts.
Oh, okay. I could do that.
Those are good. Yeah, those are good.
Yeah, I like udon.
Natto donuts next time.
God, that's disgusting.
No, but they don't taste like natto.
So what? Why?
Because then you can say you had a natto donut. Isn't that cool?
No.
You can say, it goes. Okay, so
dude, if I wanted to have like, a snot flavored friggin' food. So that's not cool.
I think you and I grew up in different cultures. So I need to kind of explain something about me because we talked during lunch about how I grew up in church, right? I grew up in Protestant church. And in the 90s, they tried to make church cool for the kids. And so what they did basically is
I can't wait to hear this.
They hired what they called a youth pastor.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a pastor
who's like some young hip guy, right?
Young hip guy with like a soul patch, whatever.
Hey guys, like it's cool to be Christian.
Yeah, it's cool to love Jesus. Yeah, but to get the kids to come, they would do all sorts of games and activities, and one of them would be eating disgusting food.
And natto was one of them, right?
No, dog food was one of them, actually.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
That should be like child abuse.
Yeah, well, no, because it was voluntary. They didn't have to do it. But like, I remember it wasn't stuff that was bad for your health, because actually humans can eat dog food. It just doesn't taste very good. Yeah.
Oh,
but they would have you eat all these things that you would think were gross. But then you could be like, because when you're in middle school, you're like, hey, I did this gross thing and I lived to tell about it. So I come from that culture. So donut.
I mean, I did the same, man. And like there was this big competition like back in the Wild West days of the Girls and Boys Club when as a kid during the summer, and one of the camp counselors like bet me a candy bar that I couldn't lick a spider off the wall.
Oh, gross!
So I just licked a spider off the wall.
What?
Yeah,
dude. Well, that could actually hurt you though.
But eating bugs is no problem for me. I'll eat bugs. Bugs are fine. But natto, you couldn't pay me money to eat natto.
What planet are you from where you can eat a spider but you can't eat natto?
Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't like slimy. The consistency and the smell.
We should make a video just talking about natto. It is like the most divisive food in Japanese cuisine.
I would say so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be for another episode.
Yeah.
We're at
why
time.
natto is disgusting food that should never be consumed.
So Komin, so next time we're going to get natto donuts, and we're going to talk about natto on one of our episodes.
Don't be surprised when I throw up on the table.
It doesn't taste like natto at all, man. How many times do I have to tell you that? Okay.
You're like those people that tells me like when grilled salmon's like, dude, it doesn't taste like fish. Like, just try it. No, it tastes like fish. I can tell. I can tell it tastes like fish. Stop trying to trick me.
All right, man. I think we're getting a little bit overboard here. I'll talk to you next time.
Yeah.
With the natto.
Oh, God.